They came mostly from Eastern Europe, from the Ukraine, Poland, Russia, from Romania, Bessarabia, and Bulgaria, from Galicia, Ruthenia, Transylvania, countries that are now only names in history. But they also came from Western Europe. They came from France, Germany, Austria, from Norway, Sweden, Denmark. And of course, as part of the British Empire, they came to this country from England, Scotland, and Ireland. They came carrying their precious personal possessions, expecting a new and better way of life.
I'll always remember that first ride out from town. John was there to meet me. He had an ox and a cart which he'd borrowed from a neighbor, he not having had time to secure one for us. There was no road, only a trail which followed the line of the river, John said a mile to the south. I tried to remember some landmarks so I could find my way back to the station, for I was certain that no human being could exist in this wilderness. It was like traveling across a huge sea without beginning or end. The vastness and the loneliness, well, it was appalling. John had tried to make a comfortable seat for me in my condition. He had piled furs in a box in the corner of the wagon and secured it with a rope, but the ruts in the road made comfort impossible, and I was nearly thrown right out on several occasions. The wagon was filled with supplies that John had bought in the town. Oh, he called it a town, but it looked more like a village to me. There was just one street leading away from the railroad tracks with no more than half a dozen buildings on either side, and at the end, a maze of tracks leading off in all directions. I hadn't seen any other woman. There were several on the train, but they were just men at the station. They stared. John introduced me to Mr. Arnett. He ran the store. Everything from tacks and tinder boxes to beans and bootlaces, missus. He laughed a loud laugh. I'm afraid I didn't give a very good impression for John. He was so proud, but I was flushed and embarrassed, and everything was so strange. I turned to wave goodbye to Lucille Hall. We had traveled together from Toronto. Her husband was managing a hotel in another town further west. She hadn't seen him for over 2 years, but she seemed to know a great deal about the new settlement on the prairies. We had promised to write to each other, but I didn't have an address to give her. John wanted to know if I was comfortable and if I wanted to stop. Oh, I did, but I couldn't tell him. He said it was only a few more miles. There, cried John. Can you see it? Just to the left of the far group of trees. I strained my eyes for a first glimpse of our new home. I could see what looked like a low barn with grass growing on the roof. Is that the stable? I asked. No, John said. I haven't had a chance to build that yet.
Colleen,
Yes, dear.
I've been thinking. Well, there's a lot of people moving out west. There's a lot of good opportunities out there.
What do you mean?
Well, I think that's where we should go.
Go? You mean go and live out there?
Yes. And find some land and start farming. That's where the opportunities are, Colleen. Now, I've been reading these books. And it says here that anyone's got the right to a quarter section of land. Well, that's 160 acres. Now, they give you a patent for the land. That gives you the right to live on it and to work on it. And at the end of 3 years, it's yours. Free. At no cost. It's the best farmland in the world, Colleen. I went to see the bank manager this morning, and he says it's all true. They need people like us.
What about your position here, John?
Well, I'm not sure that working with your brother is what I want to do.
Oh, but you get along so well together.
It's not that. I want my own place, Colleen. My own land. Your brother built his business by himself. It's his. Now, I know he's offering me a partnership, but it's not the same. I want to build something for myself.
John, you never been a farmer.
I know. But my uncle was, remember? I think I can do it. I've been reading these books here, and they got good rivers, and the quality of the soil.
So that was it. We were to move again. It had been hard enough to leave dear old Ireland. And now to face another unknown land before I'd even settled in this new one. And with the baby expected. I couldn't do it. And yet, I knew I would. If that's what John wanted to do, then that's what we would all do. John was to leave in a week. He would find suitable land and arrange the building of our new home. He would send for me when it was ready.
Beautiful, and the falls are gorgeous. Now cheer up, girl. We'll be together soon. It's a great new land out there, and we'll grow rich one day. And then I'll take you back to your dear old Ireland like a princess, and you'll have everything you ever wanted.
It all happened so quickly. And now, here I was at our new home. It was just like a small box right in the middle of the prairie. John called it our home, which I could not help but resent, since the entire building was no longer than the dining room in my brother's home in Ontario. My heart almost stopped still when I stepped inside. It was just one room, and there was no floor, just earth. The walls were made of logs hauled from the river, John said, and the cracks were plastered with mud. The roof was made of sod taken from in front of the door. It was better suited to preserve the heat than to keep out the moisture. For we had a rainstorm the day after I arrived, and there were few dry spots to be found in the whole house. The roof was still dripping for 2 days after the rain stopped. And then the mosquitoes came. But I'd never witnessed anything like it. I said to myself, before we die of loneliness, the mosquitoes will eat us up. Or perhaps the wolves that howl close by every night will mercifully end it all. I carried on because I had a secret that I'd not told John. Upon my arrival, I knew I could not stay. So I tucked $10 away in a hiding place. As soon as the child was born, I would take it away and leave this place to the wild animals. Surely John would give up this crazy idea of farming and follow. The $10 would get us at least as far as Winnipeg. The baby was born in December. John had gone to fetch Mrs. Arnett from the town, but they arrived too late. I thought I would die. The pain. But it was a healthy baby, big like his grandfather. Andrew Patrick. Andrew for John and Patrick for me. He kept me busy that winter. I looked at my $10. My determination to leave was even stronger. As soon as the baby was old enough, I would carry out my plan.
Don't have anything to do with them. You can't trust them, Colleen. They shouldn't even be around here. That's what they've got those treaties for. The government is too soft with them. That's what Mr. Arnett says. I've had to invest every penny I have in getting this farm going. But they get tools and wagons and even cattle given to them by the government. If they can't make a go of it on those reserves, then they don't deserve them.
John had spent the last of our money on seed for our first crop. Of course, we'd not been able to sow a crop that first year. But as soon as the snow was gone, John was out on that land preparing, breaking and turning that virgin soil. Up at first light, he'd not return until the sun was going down. He had lost weight. My $10 was safely stowed. I had wanted to leave before the crop was sown so that John could sell that seed and come with me. But my plans would have to be delayed. Another baby was on the way.
Look, John! Look what somebody left for us.
For the child? Who brought them?
I don't know. I just found them outside your door.
It's probably Mrs. Podwinski. She's got an Indian girl working for her. So, you know, maybe we should pay them a visit on Sunday. She's got to do hand working for him. Irishman by the name of O'Mara. Says he used to be a carpenter. Lunch. I'm starved.
But I knew that it wasn't Mrs. Podwinski who had sent the moccasins. That autumn, John built a new house. With 2 stories, there would be 2 bedrooms upstairs and a kitchen, dining room, and living room downstairs. Jim O'Mara came over to help. He's from County Kerry. John was determined to move in by Christmas, and we did, though there was a lot of things to do inside to keep us busy all winter. In the spring, John fell from a ladder and broke several ribs and injured his back. He was confined to bed. It was during this time that the baby arrived. Oh, the days were not long enough to look after John, tend my young family, and do my husband's work. How could I leave now? I accepted defeat of my plan. And I started to take a new interest in our home. I didn't seem to mind the howling of the wolves or the masses of mosquitoes. The $10 which I had secretly stowed away was no longer hidden. It was used to buy a new plow.
Good morning.
Hello. Morning, Andrew. Andrew?
Oh, it's going to be a long day, so I'm going to give you a bit more. Thank you, Mother.
Shani, you hurry up. Don't have long. Eat quickly.
Can you pass the bread, please?
Oh, you haven't got time, Sean. Go on now, all of you. Go and get ready for school. Oh, thank you, Dad. Thank you. Are you going to turn the new acres today, Andrew?
No, there's still snow on the north side. A few more days like yesterday and we will.
I saw that Dwinsky boy out on that new steam tractor of theirs yesterday.
Well, their side of the river always dries faster than ours.
Oh, aye.
Goodbye, Mother. Goodbye, Dad.
You have a good day, dear. Oh.
Do you want me to say anything to Sandra? I've lost my book.
Shanine, I told you to take good care of your books. Now, I found this in the parlor last night, and mind to keep your hat on. Here?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Andrew.
Well, if he's hungry, Mother.
Hungry. That boy eats more than the lot of you put together. I don't know what he does with it. What's this I hear about Sandra?
Nothing.
Nothing. What do you mean, nothing?
Mother, she's only 14.
Well, you're only 60.
Ah, good morning. I don't know why that boy is still going to school.
Is that for me then?
Yes.
Thank you.
Why, you Andrew, you didn't learn anything your last year at school, did you?
Well, I learned how to speak a little German.
Well, now, that's another thing, isn't it?
Are we moving everything into the new barn?
Yes. And then stalls will have to be set up, too. Ah, thank you.
Had to look at Bessie.
What was it?
Just a matter of cleaning out her hoof and letting it drain.
Ah,
I'll see you in the barn.
right.
Goodbye, Andrew.
Ah, that boy of yours got the feel for it. He'll make a better farmer than me or his father.
Yes, I know.
You know, Colleen, if I had both of them with me, we could get a crop off those new acres this summer.
You'll have Robert soon as school's out, and not before.
Doesn't make sense to me. You heard Andrew. He had to learn German to understand his teacher. Now, what sort of an education is that?
They have a right to learn too.
They made it nice. If they wanted their children to speak German, then why did they come to this country in the first place?
There are more Mennonites in that school now than there are English children.
I know what the school act says. If there are more than 10 kids, they have to be taught in their own language. But that's plumb crazy. We're going to end up with Babel. You know something? They're bringing a lot of them Chinese to build the railroads out in British Columbia. That mean all the kids out there are going to have to learn Chinese?
Mrs. Fogmuller teaches in English as well as German.
Yes, but you heard Andrew. Her English ain't no good.
If Robert picks up a little German in his studies, it's not going to do him any harm.
What good's German when you're out on the farm?
Jim O'Mara, you take your hands off that boy. He's going to be no farmer. Oh, I want him to stay with his studies as long as he can. And if he wants to go to university, we've got to find the money to send him.
You know, Colleen, you're more beautiful when you got a flush in your cheeks.
Jim O'Mara.
Tease. Oh, Louisa, tease. That's how he got me after John died. John never left his bed after that accident. Jim O'Mara just moved right in and helped me run the farm.
That's a problem.
Every evening he'd play chess with John and discuss plans of how they would change things once John was well again. I think John knew Jim would never leave. Oh, of course, we weren't married right away. After John died, Jim fixed a room in the barn, and he never tried anything till I was ready. Then there was Kathleen. She was born the year we had the fire. And then Sean. Oh, I would like to have had more, same as my mother. There were 8 of us. But Sean is the last of
You
them.
can tell Mr. Arnett that we won't accept those rates no more. Tell him it's not just me. It's all of us this side of the river. We're not paying those rates.
Is there anything else you want me to bring from town?
Why, yes. If you should happen to see Mr. Anderson, ask him for another bottle of that good rye whiskey he makes.
If you want me to bring whiskey from town, Jim O'Mara, you'll have to pay for it.
And by the time I'm back, I expect you to be walking, young fella.
Walking? He'll be driving the tractor by then, Sean.
Take care of yourself, Sandra.
You take care of yourself.
Well, old man, don't know how you're going to run this place without me.
Then don't take too long before coming home. Good luck.
Thanks, Andrew. Take care of Mother.
Don't worry, we will.
Kathleen, don't get Mother to join your suffragettes.
She won't have to join. She's been one all her life. Haven't you, Mother?
I wish I was coming with you. Finish that college stuff first. We'll need doctors over there anyway. You're the youngest, Sean. You shouldn't be going. What do you mean? I'm the only one not doing something useful around here. I'll see you soon.
We should be seeing you off at the station, Sean.
No, Mother. This is the way I want to remember you all. I'll be home for Christmas, so make sure there's a big turkey in the barn.
I knew I could not stay. So I tucked $10 away in a hiding place. As soon as the child was born, I would take it away and leave this place to the wild animals. Surely John would give up this crazy idea of farming and follow.